What's going on, Nerd Squad, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host for today, Taylor McWatters, and on today's list, we'll be counting down some of Marvel's most magical places. The universe is full of many of them. Some are so small, some are so big, some are actually down below that we may or may not call hell. So yeah, there's quite a few to mention. Here are the top 10 most magical Marvel locations. Let's hop in. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have MOJO World. This first one sounds fun, like for a bit, but then it becomes a nightmare if you're actually there. MOJO World is an extra-dimensional and extra-temporal realm inhabited by these spineless ones. Their world is pretty unique. See, what happens is that the signals from Earth, be it radio or television, get distorted and sent through time to these spineless ones, and it happened early in their existence too. So now, the species loves televised entertainment, as do we. Who knows, maybe they're watching WandaVision season 4 right now. We never know, it's all crazy up there. They feared humans, but were in awe of them. Kind of like most humans. Like, I like Chris, but you know, you never know. You never know. There is a ruler, of course, there is a ruler, and his name is MOJO, and he produces movies and TV shows to keep the spineless ones entertained. Are you not entertained? MOJO World is an interdimensional world home to beautiful mountains, rivers, oceans, and of course, the occasional plasma storm. So bring your interdimensional umbrella and some popcorn because MOJO World is pretty weird yet entertaining. And before we go on to number 9, if you guys could go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, it really does wonders for our channel. You guys are the best, thank you so much. Now back to some more marvelous magical worlds. Number 9, Otherworld. Otherworld is a pocket dimension adjacent to Earth, and its purpose is to serve as a nexus to other dimensions within our reality and also other realities in the multiverse. So if you're guarding Otherworld, you're basically guarding the intersection between all of realities. No pressure. The Celtic powers of Otherworld match those of ASGARD, which I will of course talk about later on in this list. And since it's a nexus between realities, there's a number of provinces that coexist on Otherworld, like Avalon and Dryador. See, some kingdoms have existed for quite some time, and others are still pretty fresh. At the center of Otherworld, we have the Starlight Citadel, the headquarters of the Omniversal Guardian, and it acts as this meeting point for all of these realities that I mentioned. It's beautiful. Number 8, the Dark Dimension. The Dark Dimension is also referred to as Subware, not somewhere, but Subware. It's actually where all of our subscribers come from, actually. No, I'm just kidding. The Dark Dimension first popped up in comics with Strange Tales issues 126. It's the place Dormammu and Umar were both banished to by the Faultine. See, it started off as this massive singular plane, but during a conflict, it was shattered into multiple planes, like the Splinter Realms or the Archipelago of Anguish and Redemption, which is fun to say. We of course see the Dark Dimension in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a void within the multiverse. The Masters of the Mystic Art managed to protect Earth from the Dark Dimension by building 3 sanctums, one in London, one in Hong Kong, and of course the one we all know the best, the one in New York, where Doctor Strange resides currently. I feel like we're not quite done with the Dark Dimension in the MCU, at least I hope we're not, because it's one of the coolest places I've seen. Aside from number 7, the Astral Plane. The Astral Plane is an alternate dimension that has an equivalent space to our own, where matter is composed of ectoplasm. We see Stephen Strange get popped into the Astral Plane in Doctor Strange, well, rather the Astral Dimension in that movie. See, it's a parallel dimension where the soul exists outside of its body, and to access it, you have to be successfully separated from your physical form, which isn't something that you do. You can't just sneeze and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what happened? Oh, bless you. Thanks. You're welcome. You have to exist in a pure energy form, so you might need a wizard or two. We see this plane in other Marvel properties as well, like in Black Panther, Eric Killmonger and the Black Panther are able to have a conversation with their deceased fathers, and when they wake up, it's like no time has passed at all. Well, that's because in the Astral Plane, time is slowed way down. So much so, in fact, that when Stephen Strange uses it, he's able to leave his body, have a conversation with the Ancient One, and then return to his body before his body even hits the ground. So blink and you just may miss it. Number 6, Nexus of all realities. The Nexus is a cross-dimensional gateway that provides a pathway to any and all possible realities. And I mean all of them, even the realities between realities. In its comic origins, it's actually unknown if some being created it or if it just happens to be the one place in the multiverse where all realities just happen to naturally intersect. And we see it for the first time in Fear issue 11. We see it in Man-Thing's swamp in Bywater, New Orleans. The ancestors referred to the area of the swamp called Darkwater as the nexus of all realities. So next time you take a dip in a swamp, you just might be not in our dimension anymore. So I don't know, maybe hold your breath, plug your nose. You don't know where you're gonna end up in that puddle. Number 5, Soul World. One of the many conversations I had with friends after we saw Infinity War for the first time was where exactly Thanos went after he snapped his fingers. It was this large orange paradise almost. It looked like the place where you fight Dark Link in Ocarina of Time, but with more orange. Just an opening, confusing area. Well, it turns out this was a brief look at Soul World. It was originally included in Avengers Endgame after Tony snaps his fingers, but it was deleted to avoid more Zelda flashbacks. No, Soul World is the dimension existing inside of the Soul Gem. So while Thanos was in this pocket dimension briefly, he spoke to a younger version of Gamora. And in the comics, Gamora learns about Soul World's decay because a fragment of her own soul was still trapped in Soul World. So with Gamora being the key that led Thanos to gaining this Infinity Stone, one could only hope that somehow she's still in there alive. Or maybe Black Widow, maybe? No? Please? Number 4, Hell. Hell is a world bound to the mind of its mistress and queen. Hela, ruler of the dead. The realm shifts by her will. Its laws are ancient and her whims can twist those laws until they scream. Sounds lovely, let's do it, grab the kids. Great. Valhalla is a realm of honor, Faerie is a realm of temptation, and Hell is the realm of trials. Is it weird that I low-key just want to like poke my head into this room, into this trial room, just to see what it's all about, you know? The first time we see Hell in the comics is in Journey into Mystery issue 102, and it's one of the 9 realms, and it's of course one of the many realms of death. It's actually the final resting place for the dead of the 9 realms. That's your last stop on the tour de life in those realms. So the appearance and nature of Hell can alter depending on what its queen wants. Sometimes Hell is a pit, sometimes it's a nice gorgeous palace, and sometimes it's a puzzle box. It doesn't always mean this is a horrible haunted place with ghouls screaming in your ears. No, not at all. It's more so the final resting place for those in the 9 realms. But if you're a it surely won't be a paradise like Elysium. It's going to be a bit hotter and a bit more harsher. Number 3, Sakaar. The first time we see this beautiful, terrifying land is in the Planet Hulk storyline from 2006. Sakaar is the 4th planet from the star Teo, and it's the only planet within the Teo star system known to be inhabited by sentient life. Sakaar is considered a savage planet that is full of extremes, but it's the most diverse geologically. I mean, we got great deserts, tropical paradises, mountains, volcanoes, Arctic wastelands, lakes, oceans, you name it. During the height of the Spike War, a cosmic vortex opened up near the planet's orbit, causing tidal waves, and the inhabitants actually viewed this vortex as the end times. I mean, yeah, that's more than fair. Even in Thor Ragnarok, they referred to this portal as the Devil's Anus. So, yeah, okay. The Great Devil's Anus portal disappears and then reappears over time. And what it does is it spits out debris and exotic alien species from all over the universe. So that one sweater you just can't seem to find anymore, maybe your ex doesn't have it after all. Maybe it's just getting shot out of the Great Vortex and now Korg is wearing it. Number 2, Asgard. While it may not exist anymore in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Odin has even said that Asgard is not a place, it is in fact a people. Well, it was once a place, and it was a pretty spectacular place too. As described by Lady Sif in the first Thor movie, Asgard is millennia beyond you in our pursuit of science and knowledge, and we have learned that there are some things that can never be understood. It's a land where magic and science are one of the same things. And in the comics, it was first seen in Journey into Mystery issue 85. Asgard was sadly destroyed at the end of Thor Ragnarok when Loki unleashed Surtur to destroy the land while Hela was doing her thing getting stronger. Now the remaining survivors boarded a starship and now they live as fishermen in a small village called Tonsberg in Norway. So you never know, you could be living in a paradise in the sky and then now all of a sudden you're catching salmon. Life happens fast. And finally, number 1, Sanctum Sanctorum. Perhaps one of the most magical places in the MCU aside from Asgard, would have to be Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, which we see Thor make a brief pit stop to and accidentally messes it up with Mjolnir. It may just look like a normal fancy pants apartment in New York, but on the inside it's full of these wonderful ancient magic artifacts. It's actually the same place that Stephen Strange first gets his trusty cape. Now the New York Sanctum is seen in the MCU in numerous timelines. We see the ancient one protecting it during the events of Avengers Endgame, and Doctor Strange currently watches over it, located at 1778 Bleecker Street, and at one point in the comics it was the headquarters of the Defenders and the New Avengers. So could we maybe see that in the movies? Hopefully, because there's a lot of room and there's only 2 dudes living there. Like, come on, rent's not cheap, guys. The first floor has the drawing room, library, living room, dining room, and Wong's kitchen. Sounds like a pretty good time. The second floor consists of a study, Doctor Strange's bedroom, Wong's bedroom, and multiple guest bedrooms, perfect for some new Avengers. And the third floor is composed of the meditation chamber, my personal favorite, the mystical library, and the storage area for occult artifacts. So when Wanda decides to let all the evil leave her, in the next Doctor Strange, maybe she can cozy up and take the top floor. Seems like those rooms are quite fitting. Well guys, there you have it. Which of these magical Marvel locations would you want to visit if you had the opportunity? Let us know in the comments down below. I'd personally either love to go to Asgard or Hell. I feel like both would be a great weekend either way. I don't know. Thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. I've been your host Taylor McWatters, and we'll catch you next time.